Hey everybody, welcome to the Patty G Show. I'm your host, Patty G. We are here for a very exciting episode. This week we're talking short-term rentals with Sam Mistretta. We're talking about the marketing piece of it. How do you get customers back in your door? We're talking about it from the owner side. How do you start investing all this? And it is a wild ride. I can just say that because Sam got his start by essentially evicting himself from his own home. But that's enough about that. I'll let him tell the story. So y'all enjoy this episode of the Patty G Show. We are brought to you by some amazing partners in the community: Falaya Real Estate, Lake Men's Health Center, Horizon Financial Group, Engage. Y'all be sure to check all those companies out. They're linked in our shows. They're linked in our bio. They're linked on our website. There's phenomenal people in the community helping us bring stories like this to you each and every week. Y'all enjoy. Yeah. So what is the product? How are you driving people to?
So it's a product called Go STR Marketing. It is basically like digital marketing. It's basically a SaaS model. So if you stay at my Airbnb, if you stay at my Airbnb, 2 weeks later you're going to get a text message that says, "Hey Patty, thanks so much for having you here. We hope you got home safe. Would you be interested in seeing our other properties and not paying Airbnb fees?" And so people say, "Yeah, sure, I had a great time." And so from then on, it's an automated text and email to that person like once a month.
Okay, so you're trying to get rid of the Airbnb model or just have it self-contained?
Yeah, so we're going around the Airbnb model because everybody that's like a serious operator like has their own direct booking site. So everybody that has Airbnbs, if they have like more than one or two and they're kind of serious about it, they have their own direct booking website where you can go there and book. And so I'm selling it to them, basically white labeling my technology to them. So I'm marketing for the STR owners and operators to guide them back to the STR operator property.
Ah, so you're helping them get set up with like a kind of build their own individual Airbnb landing page booking service type of deal, or they already have
all that.
Okay.
I'm just like I'm guiding their guests by the hand to direct back to that direct site.
Okay.
So it's like after they check out, if they want to come stay again, like that's where everybody who like knows what they're doing, a lot of people don't know what they're doing in the Airbnb space. That's where they fall short is because when they're in there, they're great. They treat the guests. It's awesome. They have the systems, process, and procedures, SOPs. But then afterwards, it's like, oh, well, we need to message them to get back. And they like maybe send an email or whatever. And then like, that's it. So like what we do is we like put all the SOPs in after they leave. And so we build it all for them. It's like all of the graphic design, the copy, the content. We go in there and we actually in their system and we market to their people for them. And so it's just like an autopilot thing.
And so that's only to past guests. So they still have to get them in the door the first time.
Yeah, if you get them in the door, we'll take care of them, to keep them coming back and share it.
Yeah, and so...
it's super niche.
Well, it's super niche, but on like the short-term rental market as a whole, so what we found out, whether it's a hack or they hate it, we found out on some booking sites, they list the property manager, right, as the point of contact or whatnot. And so we found that you can actually just click on them, and it's a redirect to their website, and then we book straight with the property manager.
Yeah.
And we avoid all the middle fees.
Yeah.
So if you're going for like a week at the beach or something, it's going to save you $400.
Oh, yeah.
Just by booking straight through. Now, what you don't get is whatever the booking agency is going to give you, whether it's, communication, that concierge service or whatever it is they're providing you. You're going to miss that opportunity. But at the end of the day, if it's a booking agent, they want their properties to be well maintained, well facilitated, and they're going to reach out directly. And ultimately, it's still a managing company, and it's not the owners oftentimes.
Yeah.
So, like, you've got 4 middlemen before you even get to the person that owns the property.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like, where can we cut fees? I feel like is where people are going to, and what you're doing with STR marketing is kind of helping navigate that for the consumer side.
Yeah. And it's, if the operator, whatever, wants to charge a couple more percentage points on the fee, on like the rate, like the daily rate. Well, that's fine. They're not gonna. It's still gonna be cheaper for you, the booker, because Airbnb fees are typically like 15%, like average. It's so gray. Oh, like they had somebody charge. So like we manage ours and other people's too, with my other business, the Airbnb business. 25% they charge somebody. In Orange Beach, one of our clients, they booked one of our places for 2 nights, and they charged the guests 25% of the
more. Like that was just
that was
their
their
fee.
booking fee that they had to pay. I'm like, what? And people are paying this shit? It's crazy.
Whether it's a lack of education or it's just a convenient factor, right? Like you've got the Airbnb app on my phone. You know, you can pull it up and it goes there. And that's you pay for the convenience. And Airbnb's thing specifically is like they want to sell the experience. So they're working, or how they advertise and market is they're working with the owners and property managers to say, help create an experience for the users or for the the consumers to where it's a memorable trip. It's not just a place to stay; it's a trip. And now they've kind of in their late advertising have gotten away from that, and it's just been like, don't go book a hotel where all 4 of you are in different rooms. Get a house,
Oh, like every season it changes. Oh yeah, and then Airbnb is like, VRBO is like, have a house, not a room. It's
right, and I'm convinced that Verbo, their ads are directly poking at Airbnb people, where it's like, okay, this is just your current experience, and it's like the code's not working. The person's saying, okay, you got to hop the fence and call the dog Sparky, and then you're able to get into the house. It's like, but Verbo, you just kind of show up and all this. And I'm like, but it's the same.
It's the same thing. Everybody's And let me tell you, dude, like Verbo is like decades behind Airbnb.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like they just went through a refresher.
Dude.
They may have done a brand refresher.
Yeah,
but okay,
that's
so
all they did, because
Expedia
bought them. Expedia bought them, but like it's still, like they suck. Like,
Expedia bought Verbo?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like 2-3 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
But like their systems are antiquated. Like, their support is Airbnb's got it together, man. They they did it right. But like, it's crazy. You'd think a platform that big, there's like 2 real big ones in the industries. But like, if you know what's up and like you operate in that space, it's horrible to owners, at least. To like guests, it's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, but like,
but on that note though, so knowing that Verbo was bought by Expedia makes a lot more sense now in my head, because I've had a very, very bad experience with Expedia. Cost me 14 hours of my life. It was, I don't know if I want to share it on here or not. It was that bad. So Verbo, however, they have a poor vetting process, because I found a property out in 30A, going on a family vacation, and it was for all of us. So it was like a big house, like 10-bedroom house or whatever. And the rate I was looking at, I was like, there's no way that they're charging this rate for this house. And like all the pictures, the description, everything looked totally legitimate. And then I saw the property owner was this individual, and I was like, well, maybe it's somebody that's just very wealthy, and they typically may not have a good picture, and they're just managing whatever. I didn't feed too much into it, but then I looked it up, looked up the name, because it was a house, it was like a villa or whatever was what they call it. So I looked it up, found it was managed by another property management company. I'm like, all right, this website looks really legit. This looks real. So I called them and I get information from them. And in the meantime, I had messaged the person on Verbo. And I said, hey, I'm interested in booking this house. Like, whatever, can you provide me some details? I was like, does it come with a golf cart? It's 30A. It's kind of what you are after. And then I called the management company. And they were like, oh, okay, yeah, you're looking at, okay, and here's a total. And I was like, okay, that's more in line with what I thought. And I said, does it come with a golf cart? And they go, oh, no, this subdivision does not allow golf carts. And I was like, well, I've got an email from another owner saying it does. And I'm like, so y'all have got a situation here where this person is advertising your property at a significantly discounted rate and telling, like, he's responding to people. It's interactive. This person's going so on and so forth. And so, 3 days later, I get an email from Verbo. Thank you so much for your commitment to this case. We've removed that fraudulent property and banned that person from the platform. I'm like,
I don't even know that happened, but I don't doubt it.
I'm like, you could have, done that on the front end, maybe.
Dude,
because that's just one that I found by happening to find it? How many of those
That's crazy.
situations are occurring all the time? So then the flip side is, what do you do to prevent that?
Yeah, man. Exactly. It's
Well, like, what does STR marketing do on y'all's situation that y'all are dealing with? Do you ever run into that?
I've never run into that. I've never. I mean, I don't doubt it, but that's crazy. Yeah. I mean, if that were to happen, but again, it's almost like, well, it's only Verbo, and Verbo sucks that bad, so it's like whatever. It's almost like because I'm going to tell you, just like from like from a professional operator's perspective, a 3 or a 4 star on VRBO doesn't really matter as much as a 3 or 4 star on Airbnb. Like,
Okay, so why is Airbnb so much higher than Verbo?
They just have their systems and processes and procedures in place that much better, and it's just a cleaner platform. They're, like the algorithm or whatever. I don't know if you ever heard somebody talking about the Airbnb algorithm. It's like, some ancient Mayan code, right? That no one.
I didn't know there was code talk about the
the
algorithm of Airbnb.
Oh god.
So what's okay, go.
Oh yeah, exactly. So
what is the algorithm like? What's the big deal about it?
So that there are so many different metrics in your listing that determine how the algorithm on Airbnb side promotes your property. So like price is the biggest one, but then like photos, and then response, and then how many stars do you have, and then like tell you what, even so, if somebody even it's like Big Brother, dude. I've got stories like for days. But anyway, like if you block your calendar, so say somebody does book you direct, okay, and they don't book through Airbnb, you block your calendar, they can see your calendar. Somehow that algorithm, I know this for a fact because it's happened to me more than one time, Airbnb picks that up, and that they see your calendar for whatever reason is blocked, but you didn't get a booking, they drop you in your like page rank. So you're not like first page, top 5 or whatever. Yeah. So you're not, on the front of the shelf.
Right.
So,
do they? Yeah. I guess their algorithm.
That's their way of like
them.
punishing.
Well, yeah.
Or like whatever. Yeah. It's like okay, but now if your price is super high, because they're just transactional.
Yeah.
Like they get paid on booking, they get paid on transaction, whatever. So if your price is super high, they'll sink you down because it's all about like first page views. If you can get on the first page, that's like where you want to be and everything like that. So, the higher the price, the kind of lower you sink. But it depends on how long you've been around. There's like so many factors. Like so, both of my virtual assistants have 7 days a week, 10 hours a day. They worked as Airbnb compliance officers.
Okay.
They don't even know what's going on. I know the dude who was the third employee in the Philippines that opened the Airbnb call center. Not even he knows. Like I'm telling you, like it's crazy. Like there's rooms that are blacked out and you don't see anybody come in and out. I've heard stories, man.
Really?
It's
like the whole inside of the tech world.
Oh man, like.
Welcome to the brand new Falaya mobile app. We took all the same tech that's helped hundreds of people sell their homes themselves and packed it into an easy-to-use app for your phone. When you download the Falaya mobile app on either the Apple or Android App Store, you'll immediately be able to see the power of this game-changing tool. From the seller's dashboard, you can navigate to all the information that you need. We intentionally separated everything into key groups, such as tasks to be completed, buyer leads for your listing, and contact information for everyone involved through closing. When you get an offer on your property, you can simply review and respond all within the app. No matter where you are in the world, you'll be able to monitor everything that's going on with your property from listed to sold. It's truly the power of Falaya in the palm of your hand. Download the app and see for yourself. Falaya, it's real estate reimagined.
I mean, the calendar thing makes sense to me, right?
Yeah.
They don't want you to book outside their platform. That makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
But like the pricing thing, I mean, I guess they want an inexpensive option for people, or they?
Yeah, because the lower it is, the more people book, the more booking fees they can turn over.
So how did you get into the STR, short-term rental space, initially?
Yeah, I guess we're.
Oh yeah, we've been going, baby.
Okay, cool. I kind of thought so. Like, this is rolling really well. When are we going to kick this thing off? Fantastic. Anyway, so so I got into the STR space as a side gig on my W-2 because I originally got into. I've been in IT for like 12 years.
That would explain a little bit.
Yeah, and so born and raised here in Baton Rouge or whatever, and was doing this. Wanted to explore real estate. Thought I wanted to get into like. Multifamily apartment buildings or like rental, basically, passive income, right?
Yeah, that's the dream, right?
Yeah.
Have a rental property that's just your mailbox money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Passive income. We'll get to that later. Yeah. But, I was just around the house. Yeah, I was mowing the lawn one day, read the Purple Book, right? Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yep.
Listened to it or whatever, just like so many others. That got me fired up. House hacked before I knew what house hacking was, and really like made my current house into a duplex by myself.
You do that? Walk us through that. So it was a single family home.
It was a single family
that you
home.
converted into a multifamily home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was an interesting house. I bought the house from my grandmother. From the estate after she passed, and so it had like 2 front doors or whatever. So basically, one side was a garage apartment, and the other side was just like the regular, home. And so it was all under the same roof. And so I got to thinking, I was like, it's 2 bedrooms upstairs, but I could make 1 bedroom kitchen. So I like built a kitchen. Like I had some plumbers come in and like plumb a sink or whatever. And already had a bathroom. And so the upstairs was a 1 bedroom, like efficiency apartment, like 2 full closets, a shower, sink, a kitchen and everything like that. And I put a wall up between that garage apartment entrance and then my entrance. And then so I got a roommate, built that up, rented that out. Lived in the other side because I didn't want a roommate. I was like in my 30s. I didn't want a roommate anymore, right? I just wanted to try to get into that and get into the passive income game. So I lived in one side. They lived in the other upstairs. And then so I had a friend looking for his son coming to grad school in another place. I was like, yeah, you can come look at mine. And so they brought their whole family to look at my side where I was living. And they're like, all right, we love it. We'll take it. And I was like, all right, great.
Wait.
And then as soon as they walked out, I'm like, well, where am I going to live?
So you didn't have a house lined up?
No.
Wow.
100% no.
So like you were literally, I'm just going to rent this out and go sleep in a hotel until I figure this out.
I was like,
were you renting with all your stuff in there?
I'd been living there.
No. Were you renting it with all your stuff?
Oh,
Was
no.
it a furnished place, or like what were you advertising them to?
It was just like, here's the space. I'll just figure it out. I didn't think they were going to rent it.
And they're like, yeah, no, Sam,
Yeah.
we'll take it.
I'll never forget that day. I saw them backing out of the driveway, and I was in the kitchen like, oh, shit, where am I going to live?
All right, so
Anyway.
you have this moment where you're like, I've rented out my own home from under me.
Yeah.
And now I'm being evicted by myself.
Yeah. I was like, man, Dad, what's up? And so, yeah, big house. And so I moved in there, figured out what I was going to do. Another duplex. I was like, I got to live somewhere. So found another duplex with a realtor friend. She showed it to me. She knew I was into the real estate game. Lived in one side, kept somebody in the next one. Bought another duplex. Next thing, I was like the duplex guy, right? So around Baton Rouge. And so next thing you know, I had like 3 duplexes. I get married. So So I buy an actual single family home to live in. And so
you didn't want to split this one up.
I did. No, we did actually. We lived in one of the duplexes and split there for a while. Like it was like classic, like, yeah, it was crazy. But anyway, moved into the home. Said, look, there's got to be some different way. Couple $100 cash flow a door, a unit per month wasn't lighting my fire, right? And so I was like, to make the next step as a side hustle, I'd have to, get into these big apartment buildings because I wasn't gonna, I don't know, that was my next step besides being the duplex guy as a side hustle real estate sort of.
Yeah, I mean, you have 3 different buildings, you got 6 doors, you're making $200 a door at best, and so you're $1,200 a month. That's not you're not eating and living off of that much a year. You're living off what $14,400 a year.
Yeah, exactly. And so, anyway, I didn't like the whole syndication model where you put your money up with a bunch of other people you don't know and have somebody manage it. I don't know, I just didn't feel comfortable with that. And so I was like, well, let's see how we can get a little bit more revenue out of this. So I looked into Air BNB, these courses, because like, how are these people doing so well with these Airbnbs? How's it working? And so I was like, there's got to be a code to figure out. And so I listened to all these podcasts, interviewed a bunch of people. I was like, okay, I'm going to take the dive into a mastermind, group. And so I did. I went into a STR Secrets, short-term rental secrets. And I did that, crushed the course. I loved it. I was like, okay, cool. I know what I'm going to do next. And then everybody had full leases, and it was going to be a while until I was going to get that opportunity to do that. Okay, well, the next month they move out.
So you were going to use your existing properties
Yeah.
and just convert them to short-term rentals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So then next month, girl moves out, 1 bedroom, 1 apartment, 1 bedroom apartment, 1 bedroom part of the duplex. So I was like, well, I guess I got to use this knowledge. And so, like, whatever, it's a 1 bedroom, flip that. And so that netted in the first month what I did in the whole last year for that apartment, for that door.
For that one door?
Yeah, in the first month, yeah.
But so you had to buy furniture for it, or did you already have furniture in
Yeah,
there?
I was like, if I can do this for $10,000, if I can put $10,000 into this and make it back in less than a year, it'll be a good investment for me. So, and that's the whole deal. That's what a lot of people don't realize is like, if you want to do this well, instead of just like, giving it a shot, you have to underwrite it. And that's what so many people don't do. And like after COVID, you kind of realize that like you have to know what your expenses are and what your projections are. And you would be surprised how many people don't even do that. They just fall in love with the property and just do it. And then a year or two later, they're selling it, getting it because, oh, this is horrible. It's, whatever. Well, no, you didn't do your homework.
This episode is proudly presented by Gage. Gage is a local company here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. For over 40 years, Gage has provided businesses with the very best telecommunications, IT, and standby power services available. Gage has a variety of services, including Gage Cloud Voice. It is the last phone system your business will ever need. You need to give your business the ability to be accessible anytime, anywhere, and with Gage's cloud-based phone system, you'll be able to accomplish just that. Not only do they have Gage Cloud Voice, they have fully managed IT services that are proactive network monitoring, 24/7, 365, help desk, business continuity. They are there for you. What you're also going to need is some cybersecurity. Gage is there to safeguard your business from potential cyber threats, even when you aren't aware they exist. Gage also is power and leaders in standby generators. They are the #1 Cummins dealer on the Gulf Coast and provide generators to homes and businesses of any size so you can keep life going. Gage, better connected, a proud sponsor of the Patty G Show.
It was a bad buy.
And I think that goes in line with more than just short-term rentals.
100%.
People are they've got this, whether it's social media created it, whether it's people are just more impatient nowadays, whatever you want to believe. People are looking for that that instant satisfaction, and real estate's not really an instant satisfaction. Even with the Airbnb model, it's still going to take time to recoup your money if it's done properly, let alone if you do it poorly, you're going to lose money on it. And people are just quickly to say, oh, I've got a spare bedroom. Let me Airbnb the spare bedroom.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, should you?
Yeah, go ahead. Go for it, man. If you're a college kid and like that's how it all got started. Mark Zuckerberg wasn't always a multimillionaire, right? And that's how his thing was. But then, okay, that's kind of the difference. Is where do you want to take this? Is it just kind of a side hustle? Is it something you just want to have fun with, or is it something you really want to use as an investment vehicle, as a long-term wealth vehicle that cash flows, and things like that? And so, yeah. Anyway, so we did. So you're exactly right, but we did that, and then from then on, I didn't renew any more leases in my long-term leases, and I told people what I was doing, and they're like, "Wow, that sounds awesome. Can we do that? You manage it for us?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I started a management company. I had a property holdings company, and then so I just ran everything through the management company. And so now, we just finally finished our last long-term rental. We transitioned it to short-term in December, and it was the last one because I was like, I don't know. It needs a lot of lipstick, But the court was a great part of town. It's an old Goodwood. And I was like, I don't know if they're going to like it, but my wife, she really designs a lot. She does a lot of the interior design and things like that now. She's learned a lot. And so it smashed. Like it did so much better in short term than it did in long term. And so, yeah.
So to me, like the initial thought around like the short-term rental market is for events and for one-offs and what have you. It's not so much, at least in like the initial look at, okay, what is the Baton Rouge market for short-term rentals? But it's actually bigger than people realize. Like I have a neighbor that has a back, mother-in-law suite that they rent out on Airbnb, and they cover their entire mortgage.
Oh yeah.
For their entire property just from this rental property or just from this Airbnb little one-bedroom studio place.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, I did not know that the Baton Rouge short-term rental market was that great,
It is, Patty, that's so interesting you say that because I'm in 5 markets right now,
Okay.
I'm in Galveston. We own a beach home there, and we rent it out. Baton Rouge is my largest market. We've got 3 listings in Oxford, Mississippi.
Okay.
And we've got 2 in Gulf Shores and 1 in Orange Beach. So I'm in kind of 5.
So three of the markets are similar.
Yeah, college towns and beach markets.
Okay, so college towns and beaches, those are your 2 categories of markets. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and because any place that I can get to in a half a day, travel for me, and it's just I know kind of those markets better. But out of those 5 markets, which one do you think? And I'm kind of baited the question here earlier, but like.
I'll remove the bait, ask the question.
Yeah. So, Baton Rouge is the highest rated market out of all those 5.
Now, see, I would not have guessed that.
Really?
Well,
I wouldn't
before you baited it, I wouldn't have guessed it.
Yeah.
Like I would have thought like Orange Beach,
exactly.
or Gulf Shores, or maybe even the Galveston area. But I think where you're probably going with this is those markets are seasonal markets. So what is the difference between the college town markets and the beach markets that everybody thinks, I'm going to buy a beach house on Airbnb when I'm not there?
Yeah. Exactly.
That's the goal.
Right. Yeah. And that's awesome. It's the seasonality plays into it and the investability. Okay. I don't know if you or anybody else has looked into property and even Gulf Shores lately. It's like destined prices, man. It's crazy.
Gulf Shores?
Gulf Shores. And you know what? They are really hurting right now. Orange Beach is kind of where it's happening. Destin, if you buy new in Destin, like, you don't be expect on making any return. Like, even though Destin's so high. But, it's going back to Baton Rouge, it's the seasonality and it's the investability.
Okay.
It's just a year-round sneaky market. And yeah.
So I've noticed that. since my neighbors told me that their back little area is
Mm-hmm.
Airbnb, because I'll go to work or I'll go to the gym and I'll notice like different cars in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's a Tuesday. They got a different car in the parking lot. I'm like, what is this? You know? But so do you have any type of like demographics on like what the consumers are in Baton Rouge? Is it people traveling to visit family and they don't want to stay in a hotel? I mean, I get it during like baseball season and like athletic season. It makes sense. You know, to me, like that's what I was thinking the Baton Rouge market was going to entail. Being a college town, if we have a sporting event happening, you're going to get somebody to come and stay from the opposing team or from our team, whatever it may be. Yeah. But in my mind, I'm like, that's it. You're just kind of like a dead period where you got these people not renting, but it's not the case. Yeah. From what just from one house that I've looked at on my street, and maybe I'm in a desirable street of Baton Rouge. Hey. But so like, what about the Baton Rouge market have you seen or the trends, being that it's not as seasonal as the beach?
Yeah. So I'll give you, I'm not going to bait this question, but I will give you another pop quiz. So what month would you guess is the best month for Baton Rouge?
Best month for Baton Rouge.
The best month for Baton Rouge.
Okay. So my initial guess is going to be around like football season. So like the fall, like September, October.
Okay.
That's just, I'm thinking what draws people into Baton Rouge from how we view ourselves.
Yeah. Right.
Being LSU sports.
Yeah. LSU sports and like, fall semester. Yeah.
That's my guess. I wouldn't put Jazz like anything happening. I wouldn't attach any events in New Orleans to it because that's just two separate markets. So that's my guess. Yeah. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, and I would too. July.
What do we have going on in July?
I really think it's the soccer tournaments, the baseball tournaments for all these families. All of it, like
so travel ball. That makes sense.
Isn't it weird?
But
it makes so much sense.
It's like, what is your short-term rental market known for? Travel ball. But so with that being the case, do we run down? Is it the hotels don't provide enough space for the families when they come here? Because that to me kind of seems like the only probable answer is that these people are coming with 4, 5, 6 family members and they need a bigger space than a single room. They can bring the dog. So, okay. All right. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah. They extend their stay. It's like, oh, we won the tournament. We won this round. We get to stay. Also,
wait, so you actually see that happens? Like people will extend their stay?
Yeah, hey, we won this game. We got to stay to the championship. We extend our stay to like Sunday or Monday or whatever. Yeah, 100%.
Oh, so okay, so it's not just a guess for you. Like, so that these people are here for travel ball.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Imagine taxiing on a plane looking toward the end of the runway. It seems so far away, it's even hard to see it. And that's what the concept of retirement probably felt like when you were in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, way far in the distance, not visible or even a concern. But as you turn 50, something happens. Retirement suddenly seems like something real, something not too far away. In your 50s, you are rolling down the runway. Retirement is getting closer and closer, faster and faster, weeks and months zipping by. But are you even ready for a successful takeoff to retirement? Fear not, there's still runway left, but the time is now. Time to make progress and time to get a plan. The Runway Decade will help you get organized, get energized, and give you the direction you need to take off to your desired retirement. The Runway Decade, building a pre-retirement flight plan in your 50s.
But then there's other crazy things too. Like my neighbor, we're helping them out now. They're remodeling their house. They need a place to stay for 2 weeks. They're redoing their plumbing. We also have relationships with insurance companies for like midterm stays. So like whenever fire, flood, severe remodel or whatever, these insurance companies typically they don't look for accommodations for their policyholders themselves. They look to this other company, and they find they find the Airbnbs, and so they want they want these people to stay in a like or similar home to what they have, and so that's whenever they call on us, and they're like, yeah, because it's just there's not that many furnished homes like with yards that are available for people, and so how that factors in July, not sure, but that factors into your other question, like outside of football and graduation season, why? That's what happens, yeah. So.
That actually, I mean, I get it, and I guess it's a sense of what lens are you looking at it from the consumer side? Are you looking at it from, we've got a trip upcoming and we're going to go on vacation? They're not coming here for vacation. They're coming. It's more like a utility use.
Oh yeah,
right. It's not a people are coming vacationing here to Baton Rouge. It's no, we want to stay here in a short term rental for like 2 or 3 or 4 days. That we don't want to go and stay in a hotel at, because I get the hotel is it's the same thing, But when you're at a house, it's like, oh, I'm at home almost a little bit,
Yeah. It's so I think Baton Rouge is a family event market. People come here for family events, whether it's weddings, funerals, graduations, birthdays, holidays are huge. We were at both of our, so actually on all 3 of our duplexes, we have 3 listings for each property. So we have A side, we have B side, and you can rent out the whole duplex. And so the past 2 years, we've got a private chef that cooks Christmas dinner for a very prominent family in town, that they rent out the whole duplex for like 3 weeks because they're cooking for this family and they need 2 kitchens, So
No
they pay
way.
top dollar. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
So they use it just for the kitchen space.
Yeah, and then like they have a few people, so it's like everybody's got their own. Yeah,
That's crazy. I did not. The more you know.
yeah, yeah. Like who would know this stuff? I would have known this stuff 3 years ago. Oh yeah, and so then by the way, going back. So in November of 2022, I resigned from my W-2. And so this is what I do like full time. So now, yeah, it's all just real estate now.
So you're now full time into both the property managing and the short term rental marketing side of things.
Yeah, and the software marketing. Yeah.
Okay, so walk me through the software marketing. We kind of briefly touched on it, of like it's a general thing, but you were talking about how the concept itself of the funnel, then to the webinar or whatnot. What's contained in the package? What are they getting out of it?
Yeah. So we offer this to short-term rental or Airbnb operators that want to invite their good guests back and invite them to explore other properties in their portfolio. Because most of the time, if you book someplace and you like it on Airbnb, it's still kind of tough for you to, you and I, like certain age demographic, we can find that place again. But for a lot of folks, typically older folks, it's tougher to find that place on Airbnb again. And besides, they only think you have that one property on Airbnb. They can't explore your portfolio. And so what this is doing for the STR operators is allowing them to invite their good guests back, show them their other properties, and save their good guests money by not having them pay the Airbnb fees, right? And so you'd be surprised, for me, for example, right? I had people come stay with us for a big LSU game. And so I built this for myself before I offered it to anybody else, because there wasn't anything out there. So I built the software for myself. I used it, and then so I had my guests that were coming to stay for LSU games, seeing that I had properties in Orange Beach. They're like, "Man, we have we stay there every year. We didn't know you had a property." So they understood now that we're a serious operation. They knew our product, and they wanted to stay with us. So now we cross market, people that didn't even know that. Look, I wanted to go to a Ole Miss. I've never been to an Ole Miss football game, So now you can. Anyway, so yeah, so we offer our clients a way to easily market to their guests, and we do it all for them, because if you're if you're operating a short-term rental, or really like anything, you need to market. Okay, I need to market in any business. Well, how do I do it?
Right.
Now I've got to become a graphic designer. I've got to take the time to come up with the content. I've got to take the time to come up with the graphic design. Then I've got to actually use my CRM and market to them, these people, on a regular basis, giving them fresh content instead of like, buy from me, right? And so there was a huge gap there. And so I filled that for myself. And then for my clients, it's really cool to see that they want this. Like, people want, like, I would want that. If I went to a place that I loved and people texted me for like a legit coupon and seeing their other places, of course, because nobody does that. And so that's what we're enabling these short-term rental operators to do, is we're saying, look, all you do is you upload your information, we'll make the content, the copy, the graphics, the images, and then we'll even market to your people for you.
So you're making the content and the
whole thing.
So how are you making the content for? Like what is the style of content you're using to market it?
So the first thing is it's text and email, and that's the secret sauce.
Okay, so you're not doing like social media marketing for them. Okay.
No, text and email, because everybody has all this contact information already.
Right.
But nobody's doing anything with it. They're like, "Oh, I want to market." Well, okay. You have time to become a professional like digital marketer? Yeah, no, nobody does. So that's what we do for them. And so we're taking the guests on a journey. So it's not just like, again, it's not buy from me. It's not like book. It's like, here are some other properties you may not know about if you're in town next time. The next message is like, why I got into short-term rentals. And it's like, why their story. It's got like their headshot, and they're, kind of building rapport, humanizing them, right? And then one is secret restaurants in the area you may not know about. Another one is events in the area, attractions in the area. So with that, we tell people to give like your 5 top attractions, your 5 top events, and 5 top restaurants you like in that market. And all they do is just give a URL. So just copy paste a website, and then from there we create the image, we create the content, we create the copy in a friendly but informative tone. And then we give it to them to proof it, make any changes they want. And then so we're that whole process from like purchase to like talking to these people, it's like a month. And so for like a customized design with your logo all over it,
that's pretty quick.
Yeah. And so like I know this market and there's nothing there, because typically all these marketing solutions come from either a tech or a marketing, like there's no one that understands the hospitality industry like this and knows what they need. So then I bring the hospitality, my guys from my IT background, the designers, the engineers, the developers, they bring the tech background. So that's how we got together. And then it's just automated. Like they don't do anything after that. It's all an app too. You don't have to crack a laptop.
Oh, so it is like an owner's app they can download?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a free app.
So then you said you have a property management side on the other piece of what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So is this kind of part of hey, by the way, we'll manage the whole thing for you?
No. So like, so we don't manage the other people's like the other people's properties for them. It's like, and I know this probably gets pretty confusing because I'm in a lot of similar pots right here.
Right.
But like, I only manage different investors' properties in my own.
Okay.
And then this other, like, and that's pretty much, I have given that to my wife and my virtual assistants to handle that. So that's pretty much self-sufficient right there. I am really concentrating on this, like, marketing people to help other operators market for themselves, like I helped my business to market.
So do they ever cross-pollinate? Like,
No.
will you ever have people that say, man, I really love this marketing element that you've given us. Do you know anybody that can help me? Like, I'm going from 5 properties to 10, and that's too much for me. Like, I still want to keep that as a passive activity.
Right.
Can you help me in that?
I'm not sure if I understand the question.
So, do you have people that use your marketing tools that then later come back and say, "Hey, Sam, can you just manage my properties for me?"
No.
Okay.
No, they're all about growing their business, because that's why they need the market. That's why they want the marketing to grow their business, to have that repeat income. So no, we don't. I mean, and that's the other thing too. For me to go into a different market, that's probably some of the hardest work to do, because you have to build the teams. You have to build your cleaners, the lifeblood of your business. Get a good rapport and relationship with them, your handyman, your HVAC. So it's like you're going in and building a whole team in a different market. So that's why I'm not doing any more markets right now than what I have, because that's where you scale. There's a lot of time involved for going into a new market, and I've seen that too. Like, people are like, yeah, I've got one property in Asheville, one in Minnesota, one in Texas. I'm like, bro, that's
totally different markets. Yeah, that's
so I'm even
so for those like just getting, or they're kind of dabbling with the idea of the short-term rental, because it's a different field than that of your typical real estate investing that people have done over the years. They think,
so
okay, I've got to get a tenant. I need to get them there for 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, whatever it may be, and then I'll be set. But for this, it's like, I need a tenant all the time.
Yeah.
And so for those wanting to get into it, what were like some things you wish you had known back then?
I would say, so the good thing for me about it is that I actually started my education before I did that. So if you're even interested in that, I tell people, look, the cheapest, easiest thing to do is just listen to all the podcasts you can. Okay.
That's fair.
do that. Find somebody to get that you align with, and then pay money. It's going to cost. If you want to be serious about this. Okay. If you do want to be serious about this, join a paid mastermind, and then you get what you pay for. Otherwise, if you just want to do a few of them, and you maybe just one or two. There is this group that helps you. They're friends of mine. We kind of came up in the industry together. But they started this smaller, it's an educational program, scaled down, where I'm going to teach you this crash course on how to do the best practices on something really manageable, right? So here's the easy integrations, here's the easy tools, right? But I would say, besides educating yourself, and learning how to underwrite a deal, is really just go out and do it. I mean, educate yourself and just give it a shot. Because you're never gonna quote unquote be ready, but just make sure that you know how to underwrite the deal.
Thank you to our wonderful sponsor, Lake Men's Health Center with Our Lady of the Lake Physicians Group. Guys, I know it's tough to get out and go to the doctor. I know it's challenging to find time in our busy days, but I promise you, signing up to be a part of this group with Dr. Curtis Chastain and Dr. Tyler Boudreau, you won't regret it for several reasons, but most of those being the fact of the time it saves, where you're able to get in on the same day, get that appointment done, and spend that time you need to talk with them about what your health goals and concerns are, as well as ensuring that the financial investments you have, you will be able to live out and see those come to fruition. So if you're an investing guy, you know all about and planning for the future and investing in the future. There's no other more important thing to invest in than your health. Make sure you go check them out, Our Lady of the Lake Physicians Group Men's Health Center, and tell them Patty G sent you.
Yeah, and I think the underwriting is the most important part.
Oh, yeah.
Because especially in this financing climate that we're in right now, I guess you could say, it's not what it was 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, no.
You have people that are they're buying property at 2 or 3x what you could have bought it at. You know, it's like the sales price is like the least worryable number.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like what you're buying the house for is the lower number from what you're actually going to pay for the house.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's so many properties so many more properties that don't work now because of just the interest rates and everything like that. And so, let alone if you're, and then also, if you are going to flip an existing one like I did, you know, just realize like people want to stay at some place that is as nice or nicer than their own home. Okay. The days of just throwing in grandma's, chest of drawer and, throwing a blanket out here, you can't sell mama's family. Okay. You can't,
Right.
I mean, you have to, like, on everything we do now, it's like we have an accent. Like there's something that's kind of our thing right now. Right. It's being a little bit funky. That's cool, but it can't be like weird, like creepy funky.
Yeah. You don't want to, what are those commercials for that hotels are doing? Like you walk into a room full of dolls, like you don't want that.
It's too far. Yeah. Yeah.
So what's the medium ground, I guess, from a decor side that you're seeing, at least in the local market here?
Yeah. So it's okay. So we have a few properties that we are it's going to be an interesting one. I'm really excited about these. We don't take on we take on a lot less. Let me rephrase that. We don't take on way more than we do take on at this point because our threshold is kind of, we know what we're doing. We're like the best in the area, and so I know what the market can do and what it can't and what we can really capitalize on for our investors or for us. And so we're taking on this new one. It's by the North Gates of LSU.
Okay.
And so it's not in it's right off of State Street. It's on like Carlotta Street. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like the old Halloween parties, I get it, whatever. I would have never thought I would be doing a deal on Carlotta Street, but it's starting to gentrify. And if you look at the demographic and what's around there, it's literally like the college kid, iPhone, like whatever. I'm surprised people stay there. I would be creeped out. Okay. So that's like one level. It's just whatever iPhone photos and whatever you got, making some extra money on the side. Other people, the whole farmhouse thing, that's good. That's easy. I get it. People like that. For us, it's I tell my designers, we come up with a board, with a design board. And the first thing I always say is like, that's not at 11. It's like, it's got to be at least 11. That's like an 8.
Okay.
Like it's got to be a little, that's our style, right? That's what we do. Like we need to be a little outrageous. Does that make you a little nervous? If it makes you a little nervous, we're on the right track.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So you're like trying to intentionally design these over the top spaces that are nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's got a little bit of what, but it's still comfortable. And it's not like I've got friends that design these 10-bedroom homes in Orlando that have like movie scenes in the house, right? Like each room is a different movie scene. It's nuts. Like they have whole crews that come in there and do this. We're not quite there in Baton Rouge, but in Oxford
we could do like a baseball room, like a football room.
Yeah. But like to your point though, for that, like I think that's like that's a little trite. That's like a little overused. Like it's like LSU. It's okay. That's kind of tired. Whatever. Let's do something different. Let's do something weird. Let's do something fun. That's what keeps it fun.
Wow. Yeah, that's. You always think about when you're going by like a normal rental property. You never think about I want to make it room, like different rooms have different feels. But I guess for a short-term rental, you kind of want something a little funky.
Yeah. So like in our Oxford places, so we've got a 4-bedroom, 4.5 bathroom, and a 5-bedroom, 5.5 bathroom, each on a different side of a pool. And so each of those homes, each room is different, designed differently. So like the 4-bedroom home is like a tribute to Mississippi. So like one's the river room, one's the Southern Gentleman's, one's the Southern Bells, and one's the Magnolia room. So it's like different, but it's all the same. Yeah,
It's the same vibe.
Same vibe.
Just different scenes.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you walk into like a Mississippi kind of blues bar. It's like
That's pretty
It's got
cool.
a guitar, like electric guitar hanging, and like like shiplap, like old shiplap. It's super cool. That's probably one of my favorites. And then the other one is a Vegas style. That's the one we just like went to 12 probably on that one in Oxford, Mississippi.
Why Vegas and Oxford?
I know.
Does it sell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so what
See,
the
so
investors,
if I ever think of something, I need to go against, like totally opposite of what I'm thinking, because clearly, like Vegas and Oxford.
yeah, man, that's High Limit Lounge, man, and it's great. Every yeah. So my partners on that deal love Vegas, so yeah,
Makes sense.
Yeah, so that was her thing. So
When I feel like almost like short-term rentals, you don't want them to feel as comfortable as home. Like you want them to have that little edginess to it, where
Yeah.
it's like, okay, this will be a fun 4 days, but I'm
Yeah.
not living here.
exactly,
You know,
yeah, it's
like
a
I
nice
want to get in and
vacation.
get out.
Yeah, it's a vacation, and so that's what I'm saying. It's like it's fun for us and like our designers too. It's like you're gonna do the same farmhouse like this and that, okay, but that's not gonna make it pop off the page because you want to
Right.
stop the scroll. The two biggest things I tell people is if you do want to get into this and you're gonna get out there is the two magic tickets. The two secrets are design and photos. So you have to design it to make it pop, to stop the scroll,
Right.
right? And then also professional photos, 100%. Like,
It's worth it.
oh yeah, 1,000. That's your only marketing. What other type besides GoSTR?
This is true.
Yeah,
So you've been, I mean, you had an IT career. You kicked yourself out of your own house.
Yeah.
And you've kind of built this short-term rental, this STR kind of enterprise and, empire. What are like 3 lessons you've kind of learned along the way?
3 lessons I would say are don't. I would say don't overanalyze, but like don't get caught in analysis paralysis. Run the numbers. If it makes sense, make a decision. Like decision making, because I think that's one of the biggest things that we all, at some point, have problems with. One way throughout life or whatever, it's just like very wealthy people make decisions very quickly, and then they change them very slowly. So, I don't know that. The other thing is just mindset. I really think is just. I don't want to get down too deep into it, but just the positive reinforcement and envisioning and writing down goals. Goal setting, I'd probably say, is number 2, or probably number 1. I don't know. Mindset, yeah. Anyways, we kind of verge, but yeah, and then just time management, right?
Yeah.
Whether that is, split up however you want to deal with that, whether it's family, faith, your career, you time, like whatever. But yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I love that. And they're all 3 very valuable lessons to have.
Yeah, just in anything, man. And so I write down my goals every day. I've got annual, monthly, weekly, daily goals, and so using the calendar is a good help, but yeah.
So what is something you did as a kid you wish you could still do today?
Let's see. Probably go fishing more. Like other than yeah, I think so.
Well, I know a pretty good place in Gulf Shores and Orange Beach where you can get out on the water.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe Galveston.
Yeah,
Do some fishing over there.
yeah, man. It's just, but again, it's like, that's for me, like taking the time to do that, right? And so,
Right.
but I've got a 3-year-old, an 11-year-old boy, and so starting these 2 businesses, right? And so those are 2 more kids, basically, So I don't know. I think that's it. I really want to get out, like saltwater fishing, like inshore, maybe go out to the close rigs. I don't know. That, I used to love that. But, I think my kids, Roman, he's 11 years old. He's at St. Jude. He's getting to that age. So I think we'll probably start to do that a little bit more. I am starting to take him scuba diving, though.
Ooh, scuba diving.
Yeah, I didn't tell you about that chapter.
We missed the whole chapter on scuba diving.
Yeah, that was before I got serious about all this stuff.
Yeah, I love offshore fishing.
Yeah,
that's my favorite.
I go more offshore fishing now than I do than I have before ever.
Yeah, see, that's like I'm all about I love fishing in general is great, but offshore fishing, man, that's just to me it doesn't get any better than that.
Like what?
Like going out and catching tuna.
Yeah.
Or going out. I've never caught a swordfish, but I've tried to catch a swordfish.
Oh yeah.
And it was like 2:00 in the morning. We're trying to catch this swordfish on this reef, or not in this reef. In
you
this,
saw him and
well, he pinged up on the sonar, and we're like out there fishing for him, and we hooked him, and we had him running. But we just couldn't. I mean, it was rough, and you couldn't put the boat in reverse quick enough. And I'm sitting there just taking on water.
Oh man!
And he just popped off, and I was like, man, that was like a half hour worth of work. But I mean, your snapper and your grouper, those are just that's just fun.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I do miss me some fishing.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know your answer on this. What do you love about Baton Rouge?
What do I love about Baton Rouge? I think the culture and the food. I mean, I just think it's a from traveling and just experiencing different cultures and everybody loves coming here. It's not just me. It's I can tell by the guest communication and everything like that. Going different places, you just realize that people. It's just different.
There's no place like the South, Yeah. There's no place like Baton Rouge, no place like Louisiana.
Exactly. So I think that the small town aspect, a lot of people still like good or bad. Like I tell people now, so I've got a network internationally, right? And so they still can't believe they find it so hard to understand. I still have friends that I went to 3rd and 4th grade with. That's so uncommon, especially in big transplant cities. Houston or that's the closest one probably, but anywhere else.
Yeah, and that small town vibe that we have, I do love that part about it. Because to your point, I've got friends of mine that we were in kindergarten together, and we still hang out, we still visit, we still chat, and so it's that togetherness that kind of really just lights this spark, which is so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then still I think the networking too, the the kind of the small town vibe aspect of everybody's trying to help each other out here.
Oh yeah. We're all trying to do what we can to better ourselves, know. So, for the final question, what can I do to help you?
Just keep doing what you're doing, man. I don't know. I don't really ask much. I would say you can help me by telling me how I can help you.
I don't know, man. Keep spreading the word about the show. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so how can people hear or learn a little bit more about STR marketing, or are just curious about getting into the short-term rental space? What's the best way to reach you?
Yeah. So about the marketing stuff, it's gostrmarketing.com. You'll see me and my face plastered all over there with videos and stuff. Anyway, but there's that. You can book a demo. But then for the more about the Airbnb stuff, Mr. PM. So Mr. is spelled MISTRPM.com, and that is short for Mistretta Property Management. But anyways, you can go there, and then if you're interested in even seeing hey, what would my house make if I decided to do an Airbnb? You can fill out a form right there, and we'll send you a free report on what that would look like. So
that's
just
pretty
as a
cool.
way to give back. So
I love it. I might have to do that for my own house.
Yeah, man.
Maybe I'll kick my wife and I out of the
Kick
house.
yourself out. It's not that bad. Try it.
we got a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old. It may be a little harder.
Ooh, yeah. I wouldn't advise that. Pump the brakes on that.
Well, man, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time and appreciate your energy and your passion you have. I love it.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Same here.
Absolutely. I had a great time. And for anybody listening or watching, if you're interested in short-term real estate, like this is the guy. Short-term rental properties. Sam's the guy. Reach out to him. Let him know that Patty G sent you. And, yeah, good luck to you. If you do decide to kick yourself out of your house, at least have a backup plan. But that's it for this week, y'all. We'll catch y'all next week on the Patty G Show. I'm your host, Patty G.